वत्सव हरि कादना कादना वत्सव हरि कादना वेद वेद्य विसाधु विनुतराधिका रमण कृष्ण कादना वत्सव हरि कादना ಎಳೆಯ ಗರಿಕೆ ಇರುವ ಸ್ಥಳದಿ ನೆರೆದು ವತ್ಸಗಳನೆ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿ ಕೊಳಲು ಕೈಲಿ ಪಿಡಿದು ಮುರಳಿ ಗಾನ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾ ತನ್ನ ಸೆರಗು ತೆಗೆದು ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕರುಗಳನ್ನೇ ಬೆನ್ನೊರಿಸಿ ತಿನ್ನು ತಿನ್ನು ಪುಲ್ಲು ಎನ್ನುತ್ತ ಗನ್ನ ಕರಗಳೊತ್ತುತ್ತ ಕಾದನ ವತ್ಸವ ಹರಿ ಕಾದನ ಉಡುಗಳಂತೆ ಕರುಗಳು ನಡುವೆ ಚಂದ್ರಧರೆಯೊಳು ಕೊಡವಿಯೊಳಗೆ ಬೆಳಗಲು ಆ ಮೃಡ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಲು ಕಾದನ ವತ್ಸವ ಹರಿ ಕಾದನ ಒಂದು ತಿಂಗಳು ಕರುಗಳು ಇಂದಿರೇಶನು ಮೇಯಿಸಲು 1 ವರುಷ ಕರುಗಳಂತೆ ಆನಂದದಿಂದ ಬೆಳೆದವು ಕನಕ ರಜತ ಸರಪಳಿ ದನ ಕರುಗಳ ಕೊರಳಲಿ ಇಣುಕವಂತರಳಲೆ ಅನೇಕನಾದ ಬೆರಳಲಿ ಮರದ ನೆರಳು ಒಳಗೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಮೆರೆದು ವತ್ಸಗಳನೆ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿ ಕರೆದ ಪಾಲು ಕರದಿ ಪಿಡಿದು ನೆರೆದು ಬಾಯಲುಣಿಸುತ್ತ ಕಾದನ ವತ್ಸವ ಹರಿ ಕಾದನ ಅಜಗಳಂಗೆ ಇದ್ದ ಕರುವು ಅಗಜಗಳಂಗೆ ಆದವು ತ್ರಿಜಗದೊಡೆಯ ವಿಜಯ ವಿಠಲ ಬ್ರಿಜಕ್ಕೆ ದೊರೆಯ ನಾಳುವ ಕಾದನ ವತ್ಸವ ಹರಿ ಕಾದನ ವೇದ ವೇದ್ಯ ಸಾಧು ವಿನುತರಾಧಿಕಾ ರಮಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕಾದನ ವತ್ಸವ ಹರಿ ಕಾದನ ಕಾದನ ವತ್ಸವ ಹರಿ ಕಾದನ.
Very beautiful. It matches well with today's discussion. Ivat mattu Krishnande bartade. Oh, very nice. Yeah, exactly. Uddhava is describing about Krishna.
Correct.
Uddhava last time. So this time, last time Vidura has asked Uddhava, and this time Uddhava is giving answers to all his questions. So in our previous session, we have seen how Vidura, when he comes back from his pilgrimage, you remember Vidura had gone to pilgrimage to avoid all this chaos which was taking place in Mahabharata, and he was totally against this, though he knew it was Maya. Actually, all these learned people, they call, there are only 2 things for them. One, where there is expression of excellence and divinity, that is one, that is pure Krishna, divine consciousness. Everything else, they say it's Maya, it's Maya. They keep taking that stand, and that gives them lot of solace, because when you take stand either as divinity or Maya, both the places you are bringing Krishna in picture. So therefore, they assume that there is no third, person or third sphere which is existing in this world. Either it is his or it is his Maya. Either it is him or it is his Maya. So Vidura gives up all that, and he has gone for pilgrimage. When he comes back, he meets Uddhava, and he asks several questions to Uddhava, and he asks, how is Krishna, how is his father, how is his mother, how is his grandfather, how are Yadus, Vrishnis, all that he asks. And Uddhava now knows that Krishna is no more. He is coming back from that place after seeing the demise of Krishna, Srikrishna. So now in chapter 2, he narrates. He could have given just a gist of, what happened. Most of the times when they ask us, what do we say? We say this person was there, he completed his time, and he's no more, this happened, and they finished all the rituals. That's all we said, we end up. But Uddhava is being asked about the Parabrahman himself, that is Lord Krishna. And Uddhava was a great devotee of Sri Krishna from his childhood days. So he could not help talking about him. So this chapter 2 talks about Uddhava narrating again Krishna's glories in his own way. So Shuka, who is now the entire Bhagavad Purana, as you know, it is conversation between Shuka and Parikshit. That's how we started. And they are telling us uh, about the past narrations of Bhagavata. Who told this Bhagavata to whom? So again, we are coming back to Shuka. Shuka says to Parikshit that Vidura has asked. Shuka is narrating now to Parikshit. So now being questioned like this by Vidura, Uddhava was totally unable to express. He became so emotional. And the minute he says, what happened to Krishna and his people? Uddhava goes back to his good old days when he was 5 years old. It seems Uddhava used to be so much engrossed in worshipping Krishna's idols that his mother, he would not even come for breakfast, he wouldn't come for lunch. Which child, you tell me, will play with God's idols? Which child would like to be with puja, punaskara, worshipping, chanting? Which child, unless they are blessed? So he used to be, he goes to his good old childhood memories, full of ecstasy. And the very thought of Krishna suddenly, brings lot of tears in his eyes. He starts trembling and he forgets that Vidura was before him, and he goes into an inebriated stage, intoxicated state of mind, something like samadhi sthiti. He initially remembers Krishna, he remembers all those days in childhood, and then he remembers his days with Krishna, and now he's no more. So he recollects with lot of sorrow and tears in his eyes. But for a while, he goes into a stage of samadhi. And then quickly he recovers. He understands that now I have to answer Vidura. So Krishna says, Uddhava says to Vidura, Vidura, what shall I say? The entire Yadava race has been destroyed. And you know very well it was Krishna's wish and will. Yadava means Krishna's dynasty. Just like Kuru dynasty for these people in Hastinapura, Yadava is for Krishna. So he says he himself leads that destruction. He himself leads that destruction because Krishna had come to know that now we have to leave and allow the next yuga to start. Let Yudhishthira give up and let Parikshit take over. So all these things he had thought of. So, and therefore he made, in fact, he saves Uttara's son Parikshit there when he was in her womb. And here he comes to Dwaraka. And then Uddhava is narrating all this. Then he says he was among the Yadus. They could have retained him. They could have led a very pious life, but unfortunately, uh, by the end, after the Mahabharata, Kurukshetra, etc., Yadus will start fighting among themselves, as we have already discussed. Actually, what happens is Yadu Kula also was a Sreshta Kula, just like Kuru Vamsha. Yadu Vamsha, Yadu dynasty was also very powerful. But what happens is they fought with Pandavas also during Kurukshetra. What the Bhagavad Puranic says that initially the powerful people, they survive by killing the weaklings. So Kauravas also were very strong. Similarly, Yadus also were very strong. Kauravas settled there. Yadus came here. There are so many Yadu children. All are powerful now. Who has to survive? Survival of the fittest. So they start killing each other in the hope that the strongest one would survive, but it doesn't happen. Ultimately, everybody gets destructed. One thing Uddhava points out is that these Yadus never realized the importance of Sri Krishna who was among them. And he also gives an example, just like the fishes in the water, when they see the reflection of the moon, they don't realize, they think this moon is forever. They take him for granted. Such a beautiful reflection of moon in the pond, and they're all merrily swimming. But Did they ever realize the beauty that the moon is giving to the entire pond where they are living? It adds so much beauty, so much of pleasantness. They never realize. When the moon goes during the daytime, then they realize we have lost something, and sun is so scorching, there's a lot of heat. So they never appreciate. So, like that, the Pauranics say that Krishna was very merciful, very, very merciful. How he was merciful? He used to be always highly energetic, enthusiastic. He led all the Yadus by example. He showed his beauty to so many people who would just enjoy his external beauty. And there were there's Yadavas also, so many children because he had so many wives. So, and the cousins, maternal cousins, paternal cousins, that way. So some of them were evolved to understand who he was, but very few. Many of them thought about him as just their leader. He is just senior most. He's leading this kingdom. That's all. And some of them thought of him as enemy also. Few of them wanted to see him as a beautiful, handsome man. So Krishna gave them whatever they wanted. Krishna graced them the way they wanted. If you similarly for us also, God will bestow the blessings, whatever we ask. What do we ask for Krishna? Tomorrow I should be able to get cab to go to my office. And tomorrow the maids should come regularly. I should not have any problem. Or tomorrow, because I used to discuss this 30 years back with my mother, I told I'm so happy Krishna gave, because I used to travel by bus from Dharwad to Hubli for my post graduation, and there were only bus, there were no Ola cabs, and we could not afford also. Taxis were not there at all, because today it's affordable. So we used to go by bus. I used to say bus came on time. I reached on time. I was able to sign on time. There was no punching. So my mother is, oh, correct, correct. These are the problems you have, because she was grown up. Her problems were different. So anyway, at every stage we keep asking about our problems. So Krishna will grant us. If you ask Krishna, give me wisdom, he will give this wisdom. If you ask if he's around us, Krishna, let me understand who you are. Very few people will ask this, but there were people at that time also. So Krishna, real Krishna was entirely different, but majority of them could not understand who he was, and he did not make an attempt to explain who he was. He just left it to them. This is what he does to all of us. Unless we actually surrender and seek to understand who he is, and seek to understand his operations, only then he will not try, he will demonstrate. So he says, he describes that Yadavas did not know his relevance. So this is applicable to us also. Many times, no, what we do is we will not understand the importance of so many great people in our life. Only when they pass away, when they are no longer with us, particularly parents, you can think of, we take them for granted. So taking anybody for granted is very natural, only if we are very matured. And in Hindi they say kadr karna chahiye. We should acknowledge what we have. Just like the fishes and the moon, the example which Bhagavad Purana gives, we should acknowledge what is there with us. We should be able to appreciate the divinity in what we have. Then it makes a lot of sense. And not when we start repenting after some time, I had this, I lost this, I had these people with me, I should have been good to them, I was unable to do that. So these things keep happening, but it depends on our evolution, our level of consciousness. So Vidura continues, remember when Yudhishthira offered, see, he tells, Uddhava is telling Vidura, see, so many people used to look at Krishna with great, the beauty, the majestic appearance of Krishna was so much appreciated. Do you remember Vidura, when Yudhishthira made a Rajasuya Yajna, everybody thought, that Brahma must have put all his time in making this Krishna. That's how he's so handsome. So like that, he keeps on explaining. Then he says, but one thing makes me more baffling, because Paramatma is beyond birth and death. And why was he afraid of Kamsa? Why was he afraid of Kamsa? Who was his uncle? If you remember, he is his maternal uncle. Why was Krishna afraid of Kamsa? And Kamsa, and he delayed killing Kamsa. He was on this earth to kill so many people and, you know, give them moksha, actually, liberate them. So, but then why did he wait for so much time to kill Kamsa? This was the baffling question. This comes again in the 10th Skanda, but here we can discuss a little bit. So, Krishna was born in Gokula. And we keep repeating this because it will reinforce, and Bhagavata scripture itself keeps repeating. So now Uddhava is thinking, why did he not kill Kamsa? He should have killed him much earlier. No, why did he hide himself? The explanation is actually Krishna was born in Mathura. Mathura is a place where Kamsa was there, his parents were there, Devaki and Vasudeva. Devaki and Vasudeva are his actually parents. So what Krishna does is, why he was born to, I mean, how does he take birth when Devaki is carrying him, she's pregnant. One day he gives darshan to both of them with his real form, two, four hands and two legs, just like us, with shankha, chakra, gada, padma, the conch, mace, and so the discuss Sudarshan chakra and the lotus, just like Vishnu. They're astonished, both the parents. How is it possible? So he says. Krishna says that you had prayed for me. He tells them, you were in the previous birth in Swayambhu Manvantara, you were Prajapati Sutapa, Vasudeva, and Devaki was wife Prishni. And you prayed so much, you did so much of tapas. And when I appeared before you, you said you want to have a son like me. Therefore, I am going to be born in your, I am taking birth in your womb. So they become so excited, so happy, so delighted. They get, like kind of, you imagine if a son like Krishna is born in our womb, how nice it would be, how delightful it would be. So he says that. And then at the same time, what happens is, even Nanda Gopa and Yashoda, they, in their previous birth, they were Vasus. They are special creations of Brahma. So Brahma asks this Nanda Gopa, they are called as Drona and Dhara. Drona and Dhara, their names in the previous birth. They they also are asked by Brahma to consummate and have progeny, but they say no, we want to be spiritually enlightened. So they get into higher spiritual position, but then they say, because you have asked us to do so, in our next birth we will take birth. You give us such a birth that let us be very close to the Lord Vishnu, and let us nurture, and then let us be able to watch all his glories. So Brahma says, Tathastu. Now Krishna has to fulfill the wishes of this Prajapati and Prishni, who have asked Vishnu to be born in their womb. And he also has to fulfill the wishes of Brahma. Brahma has blessed these two, Drona and Dhara, that they want to be in the divine presence. Therefore, such a beautiful divine plan. He takes birth in the womb. I mean, he goes into the womb of Devaki. Is born as her biological son, but he creates that all this Maya. Kamsa has to kill him and all that. So he tells Vasudeva, when I am born, immediately you should take me to Gokula. So he Gokula to Nanda Gopa. Nanda Gopa is Vasudeva's Vasudeva. Vasudeva is father of Krishna. Nanda is a foster father. They nurture him. They are not their biological parents. So he says, go to Gokula from Mathura, and I will make all the arrangements. So I will be growing there, and I will come later. I'll come back to your place, and I have many things to do. So Vasudeva and Devaki are very, very happy, and they forget that they are imprisoned for so many years. They have had, this is the eighth baby. So they are there from the time of their marriage. They will be there, and they continue to be there till Krishna grows and kills Kamsa. So they are throughout their life, they are in the prison. And see, look at the irony here. They asked Vishnu that you should be born. Let us learn something from this. Very interesting message it gives. we want to be your parent, and Krishna obliges, and that is enough for them. That is the greatest achievement they had. They forget their pathetic life in the prison because they are getting the highest. So any spiritual seeker, anybody who is enjoying that blissful state by communion with the divinity, whether through meditation or through listening to lectures or through, you know, any chanting or bhajans, any practice or doing your work peacefully. So if you are connected to through devotion to the Lord, if it's giving you that excitement and bliss, you are experiencing that. That means His grace is there, and when that grace is there, all the problems, family problems, worldly problems, professional problems which are happening around us will not matter, should not matter. Because Devaki and Vasudeva suffered so many years. I think about maybe eight, roughly, I'm not telling exactly, eighth child. So let us take 8 years. And after that, around, I think he goes there when he's 10 to 12 years. Close to 20 years, they are imprisoned and they are not let out, but they're enjoying the fact that they have parented Lord Vishnu himself. He has come in from. So, for a spiritual sadhak and for a bhakta, for a devotee, this is the important, this is the happiness. Everything else is very trivial, including imprisonment, including just like these people. So, like that. And then he goes to, same thing happens with Yashoda and Nanda also. They also aspire to be very close to Krishna, and they live with him for about 8 to 9 years, after which he has to depart, and then he goes to Mathura, and he will not look back at the place where he had all these Bala Leela, Rasa Leela. So he goes to Gokula, he's born there. I mean, he's moved there from Mathura, he goes there. And you know the story how Vasudeva, soon after his birth, he carries him on his head in a basket, and he's protected by a serpent, Vasuki. And then he travels, and Yamuna is fully flooded. But because it is Lord Vishnu, it is said that it just gives way. It goes there, he keeps the baby there and brings back the female child which is born to Yashoda. And that child is brought here, and we will see that again later. Now, Uddhava is telling all this. Why did Krishna wait for so many years to kill Kamsa? He waited because of this, because he wanted to, fulfill Nanda and Yashoda's wishes which they had asked in the previous birth. Along with that, he had to kill so many people we have discussed in our previous session, last to last sessions. He kills Putana, he kills Trinavarta, Bakasura, so many Kaliya, so many Asuras, and he does that Govardhana. He lifts that mountain. During that also, he wants to see and give darshan and fulfill the wishes of many people who are, trying to understand him as a Parabrahman. There are here and there. He wants to fulfill their wishes also. His entire birth, this avatar, was there to grant their wishes. And he has granted either by giving them troubles like this, like imprisonment, or he has killed them, or he has blessed them, like Draupadi, Kunti, and all. In so many ways, people had wished, and he fulfilled all those wishes. Therefore, he waits to kill Kamsa because he had to finish all this, satisfy Nanda and Yashoda, satisfy his Vasudeva and Devaki's wishes. He takes birth there, he goes there, satisfies, kills all those people. And then what happens is they move to Vrindavan from Gokul because so many Asuras are coming. Yashoda and Nanda are unaware. Let's make Krishna safe. They move to Vrindavan. As they are in Vrindavan, Kamsa sends word that there is this boy is creating havoc. Call him, let me have a fight. And he calls him. And when they go and fight with Akrura, we have seen that. So he kills Kamsa in Mathura. So that is around age of, I think, 12 to 13 years. At that time, they make him the king, but he will not. He will make Ugrasena. Ugrasena is Kamsa's father. Kamsa's father is his grandfather. So he makes him the king, and then he stays in Mathura. Then what happens is that Jarasandha is one another great Asura who is trying to disturb them. Therefore, he moves his capital from Mathura to Dwaraka, and he builds that entire fort. So that his people are safe with all those. There are so many clans. All those are called as Yadavas. So they all stay there, and there are so many stories. So this is the reason why, and this is hidden in this statement, why he delayed killing Kamsa. So, and when he goes to Mathura, um, he kills Kamsa, and Devaki and Vasudeva are in prison. He goes and falls at this Uddhava is telling. He no doubt he delayed, but once he delayed, he goes there, he bows down before his parents, and he asks for apology. Oh parents, dear parents, father and mother, I could not take care of your desires. I could not give you a good royal life. Both of you were kingly. You are king, you are queen. But see, because of me, he takes it on himself. I apologize. I could not take care of you as a son. Nearly, as I said, 20 years they were in the prison, and he was feeling very bad. This is the glory of Krishna, Uddhava is telling to Vidura. Everybody knows it, but each one in this book, in the scripture, keeps narrating in their own way, in the way they have seen, in the way they have interpreted. So, and they enjoy telling that, because as we are enjoying telling and listening to this, definitely these are the people who have lived with it. So Uddhava would definitely like to share, and with every word he tells Vidura, he feels he's connected with him because he lives every moment with Sri Krishna. Then he says, he continues about Krishna. He is talking about Krishna Lila only, because, as I told you, these people will not be satisfied by just giving 2 3 sentences narration saying Krishna passed away like this, his children, his everything. He could have closed it. No, he wants to, bring lot of devotion. He wants to relish that. He wants to taste that as he is narrating from his point of view. So he says, then he says, do you remember Vidura, how he has killed um Shishupala, how he has killed Shishupala in Kurukshetra war? He talks about Shishupala and he talks about Kurukshetra. Uddhava's perception about Kurukshetra is, he says, Krishna gave a gem. He has given us a gem, isn't it? Bhagavad Gita. So apart from that, he says, whenever he saw enemies, the enemy died of arrows of Arjuna. Arjuna killed all of them, most of them, Arjuna, Bhima, and all those Pandavas. Krishna was smiling. And see, look at the hidden. Whenever these people used to die, Krishna was smiling at them. What does that smile signify? It says the moksha given to those people. His smile talks about grace. I am not sure, they have not given about moksha, but yeah, they were fortunate to see the face of Krishna and attain mukti. Many of them attained mukti while they were fighting, even for Kauravas. See, their loyalty was towards the Kauravas, isn't it? And their duty was to fight. So Krishna doesn't mind whether you are in Kauravas, because you belong to that group and you have to fight. And moreover, Krishna himself had given so many troops to fight from their side. Do you remember that? Krishna goes to negotiate with Duryodhana, saying that let's not have war. He says, no, I must have war. Then he says, okay, let's have war. Now let's divide. Who I will be on one side and my troops will be on the other side. Who wants me? Who wants the troops? Duryodhana, very immature fellow, lack of wisdom. He says, "Give me the troops." He thinks that manpower will win over. Arjuna, being a very wise person, very matured, very divine, the divine qualities. He says, "Krishna, you alone are enough for me. I don't want anything." So this is a message again. So Krishna was on this side. So coming to this point, so many of them were his own soldiers, his own Yadavas, and they die looking at him. And many were from other areas. They all knew that we have to fight for Kurus, but Krishna is a divine person. Not all of them, again, as I said, many of them. So when they looked at him, when they were dying, Arjuna was killing, and Krishna was looking at them with a smile that granted mukti for them. This is how Krishna has expressed in n number of ways his prowess, his majestic qualities, different ways. Here, on one hand, he has taught Bhagavad Gita, the way of life for the entire humanity, and particularly to Arjuna. He holds a chariot and he makes him fight. He comes to his rescue when he's shivering. On the other hand, and then that means he's encouraging him to kill the enemies left, right, center. At the same time, he's smiling and giving them the mukti. So, what else we can? I mean, who else can, express this kind of magnanimity other than that great Parabrahma who has come in the form of Lord Krishna? The these are the instances which he is telling. Then he tells, do you remember how he released Shishupala? No, Shishupala, I think we have made a mention of that, but we will like to repeat because it has come here. And as I said, like Uddhava, we also would like to enjoy narrating Krishna Leela, enjoy narration, enjoy listening with Krishna Leela. So Shishupala was king of Chedi kingdom, Chedi, and he was cousin of Nanda, his father. Uh, and his mother was sister of Vasudeva. Mother was sister of Vasudeva. So that makes Shishupala and Krishna cousin brothers. Sodratte. Kunti is also Sodratte, maternal, paternal aunt. Krishna is related to Kunti. In a way, Krishna is her nephew. Krishna's father's sister is Kunti. Father's sister is Shrutashrava. And she is mother of this Shishupal. So, again, Sodratte Maga, paternal aunt's son. So, when he was born, he had three eyes, okay, and four arms, it seems. He had three eyes and four arms. So he was a very, handicapped child. Maybe you can call it as a conjoined twin or whatever in today's, because he had four arms and three eyes, it seems. He used to look very ugly. Parents wanted to, they wanted to just cast him out. But one celestial voice, Akashavani, says, don't do this. There will be a person uh, who, on whose lap, if this boy sits on his lap, then that all his anomalies, no, they will disappear. All these three eyes, four arms, he'll become normal. But that same person will be responsible for his death. This is the Akashavani. So what happens is one day, and that disappears. So they will not kill that baby. He grows, and one day, just like how we visit our relatives, this fellow Shishupala visits Krishna because he's his cousin. And Krishna takes him on his lap. The minute he goes on his lap, he becomes normal, like anyone else, a very handsome young prince. So but then his mother observes, and now she knows that the next step would be he'll be killed. So she runs very with a speed and talks to Krishna. Is Krishna, please don't kill him. Give him a chance and let him commit 100 mistakes. After that, let him be killed. She asks for this boon because Shishupala, though he is an anomalous person, but still he would be a very wicked fellow. He talks very nonsense things. He uses foul words, abuses. His personality itself was not good. Krishna knows that. But she requests him, Krishna, don't kill him now. Kill him later. After we, let us give him chance. I will ensure that he will not commit mistakes. Once he completes 100 mistakes, 101st mistake, I will give you. I mean, please, you can go ahead with whatever you want. So then what happens is in future, he gets such an opportunity, to use abusive words and commit so many mistakes. So what happens is Shishupala he has a sister called Shishupala. One second. He wants to marry Rukmi. He wants to marry Rukmi. Rukmi, is Prince of Vidarbha, was his friend, and he wanted Shishupala to get married to Rukmini. Rukmi and Shishupala are friends. Okay. And Rukmi is a prince of Vidarbha. He wants Shishupala to get married. So they had arranged their wedding, a Swayamvara. And during that time, Rukmini elopes with Krishna. She runs away. So all these eloping and all are not new. They have happened even in Dwapara Yuga, particularly Krishna only. So people will take his example only for this, not for anything else, isn't it? So when Krishna only could run away with the bride who was there on the mantapam, what about us and that, right? So anyway, Krishna, Rukmini is avatar of Lakshmi actually. So Krishna, Rukmini elopes. Now Shishupala is very hurt. I wanted to marry Rukmini and Krishna has taken. So he has that grudge. Yudhishthira now when he, after Mahabharata everything, he has organized Rajasuya Yajna. And what happens is, I think this is before this one, Mahabharata, Kurukshetra. So he asks Bhima to invite Shishupala. Yudhishthira asks this fellow, Bhima. So Bhima goes and Shishupala is burning with so much of vengeance and hatred towards Krishna. He doesn't know who he is. Though he had become normal with Krishna, he doesn't know who he is. In fact, he should have been very grateful to him, but that is how Kali Yuga is, isn't it? Kali Yuga, it was Dwapara Yuga, but still people, wicked people used to exist in every Yuga. So Shishupala, what he does is, he's burning, he's fuming the minute he sees all these people, and normally he's not happy. He is always having some kind of you know bad, I mean negativity in him. So when he sees Bhishma in that full palatial this thing, he calls Bhishma as a coward. He says, you have taken brahmacharya because you are a coward. You wanted to just not become a householder, and Bhishma Pratijna to remain brahmacharya is all bogus. Like that, he keeps insulting all the people here, there, and all that. And after that, he starts insulting Krishna also. He tells, what did you do? You did that, whatever. Because people will assess based on their level. Swami Vivekananda used to say, to understand great people, you should be great. See, if there is any very great people and great person, and if we are not mature to understand, we keep commenting because we will judge them from our own chota mind. Our mind is so low. We start, oh, these people did not give food to that. These people, we know his past, we know his history. All that will start. We will say. Only when we grow and we have the ability to understand the greatness, for that we should be great. So here there is no comparison. Shishupala is the most wicked person, and Krishna is Krishna, as we know. So he keeps on using all abusive words. Krishna will wait for 100 words, and 101st statement Shishupala makes. Krishna uses his Sudarshan Chakra, and he is massacred there, right on the spot. This is called Shishupala Vadhe, Shishupala Vadha. It has come as a separate shloka, set of shlokas, very famous actually. Now, who was Shishupala and why? And now, after the death, Shishupala is liberated. Just like those Jaya Hiranyakashipu Hiranyaksha, this man has a past. We will see that later. But he is liberated. That means he becomes one with Krishna. Imagine. So, we see many people in this world. I was wondering after listening to all this, we never know how Krishna is treating even the wicked people. We never know. We really don't know, because sometimes, these not wicked, I should say, they are very powerful, very arrogant people, and they are also going through so many problems. Like Shishupala had all this abnormal body. Because of that, he developed some complex probably. But there was a purpose in his birth. There was a purpose in Krishna making him liberated. Possibly, even in this Kali Yuga, we don't know his Maya. We don't know his intentions. We don't know his intentions, what he's trying to do with all of us, including Vasudeva Devaki, including Shishupala, including Putana. Putana, he gives her so much of bliss when she breastfeeds the child. Can you imagine? Putana was such a wicked lady who came to kill him. But that is that is what is apparent. What we see is that, but internally she had taken birth to get liberated. So This speaks of so many things. We cannot just comprehend his Maya, because what he is doing with each one of us, what he is doing, we think we are good. There are so many people who may not be good, or we think we are good. We may be having so many other qualities also, but we don't know what he's doing with us. So what I intend to tell is that Krishna has his own way of, good intentions with good people as well as bad people. Good and bad. For him, there is no difference. So that he remembers. You remember Shishupala, that he says, and then he says, in this they have said, "Oh Vidura, remember Devaki, Yashoda, Putana, and all these people, including Devaki, Yashoda, all these people, they get actually moksha." So, uh, as I said, he says he made sure that he was born in their house, he was brought up in this house, he fulfilled their desires of worldly type also. That means being, because half the life he was with, few years he was with Nanda and Yashoda, remaining he was with Devaki and Vasudeva. No, when they grew up, when they were little middle age, he went and joined them. So he has satisfied both sets, and he has given moksha, and so all that he keeps on describing. And he says, he talks about Kaliya Mardana, he talks about Govardhana. You remember how Krishna actually lifted Govardhana when people in Brindavan, they always used to worship Indra for rains. Always they used to worship Indra for rains. Krishna says, there is no need. You worship, you do your job, and that's enough. No need to worship. Every year they should please Indra, and Indra will give rains. That is what is described. So Krishna says, there is no need. There is no need. Just do your job. The clouds will come, they will go. It's a natural process. It's nature. So Indra has nothing to do, because always Indra is one, they say, arrogant devata. So, but then that year they don't, and Indra, unaware of Krishna's presence there, he eventually he starts pouring so much of rains. These people don't have a place to stay, they don't have a place. So then Krishna, who's a very small kid, he comes and then he lifts Govardhana, Parvata, mountain, that acts as an umbrella for the entire population of Vrindavan. That's how he saved. Then Indra comes to know that it is Vishnu avatar, and all that fellow is like always in his own world, it seems, Indra. So he comes and then asks for an apology, and then he goes. Then he says, do you know how he used to be in Gurukula with Sandipani? This story I will tell you some other time. He says Sandipani, Guru, he was his Guru, Gurukula. He masters all those Vedas and Shastras. He has learned. Look at him again. Now he is playing the role of a student with other students, his friends, and one of them was Sudama, without any differentiation, and learning the Vedas and Shastras along with them, as though he is learning for the first time. As though he's learning for the first time. Don't we know that he was the one who created Brahma, and he brought Vedas in the on the tongue of Brahma, or as Brahma spoke, they became the Vedas. He is the author, he is the creator of Vedas. But here he is in the Gurukula of Sandipani, behaving as though he is like one among so many people. Mama vartante, he manushyaha partha sarvashaha, he says in Bhagavad Gita. So what he says is that when the people look up to me as some divine person in this avatar, I must be a role model, because they will follow me. I don't have anything to do in this world, because he's just the creator. And with his Yoga Maya, he has created. Anytime he can just withdraw and go, but that is not his intention. He wants to establish certain rightful things. And he is showing through his own life. He's showing through his own life, provided it is interpreted properly. People often misinterpret. We must understand his glory, his intentions, and see how, as a son, he goes to Ugrasena, to Vasudeva and Devaki, and he apologizes. He cries. He says, I was not a good son for you. And he goes to Yashoda and Nanda. How much they will adore him like anything, my God. So much they're attached. But in the end, he has to leave them. There also he says, I have many things to do. Dears, I should do many things. He feels very bad to leave them. He feels very bad to leave the Gopikas with whom he has had a lot of Rasa Leelas. He feels very bad to leave the Gopis with whom he has, stolen those butter, and he has had lot of pranks he has done in Gokula and Brindavan. So, but every time, and as I mentioned, whenever he does, see, when he goes to Mathura to kill Kamsa. That's once for all. He never comes back. And my Guruji had told me once, I think I mentioned this. I used to be very much attached to my parents. Even after my wedding, I used to be so attached. I used to be very homesick, rather, very homesick. So my Guruji used to tell, see, Krishna is your idol. Krishna is your Ishtadevata. So you see how he left Mathura, this one, Brindavan, and he went to Mathura. He never looked back. He never looked back. Actually, when Uddhava comes back, the Gopikas will be asking, does he remember us? Does he ever know that we existed? How rude. How can he be like this? So much of complaints they had against Krishna, but Krishna, no, he remembers them always. And they also know. In that viraha, it is called, in that separation, longing, is the bhakti. They enjoyed that bhakti when in that separation. And Krishna also knew he would sit smiling in Mathura, he would keep smiling in Dwaraka, knowing very well that all these people with whom he has spent his childhood, he has spent so much of time with them. He used to give every minute and every part of bit of his mind to with them, with whomever he was. And he could do that, isn't it? He could clone himself. That is why when there were so many wives, he could be there at the same time with everyone, each one of them. Same thing with Gopikas also. So Krishna has shown so many things. So that is ultimate vairagya, where your duty comes. I think abhyasena vairagyena cha, we have told in the Bhagavad Gita last session. So vairagya is when that duty comes, forget everything, no homesickness, no parents, no children, nothing. If you're doing some duty, that's what we all do, isn't it? When we come to workplace, we forget our family. We forget, we cannot think cribbing about our children, husband, mother, mother-in-law. No, we cannot do that. When we come home, we cannot keep thinking about the work. We have to compartmentalize. And this is exactly Krishna has done. Look at his, the way he works. Mama Vartana Vartante, he says, I should do. When I do, people follow whatever I do. And I better do it. He says, I better do it. Look at his creation. If the sun does not rise on one day, that's his creation, his Maya. What will happen? There is no routine. Absolutely no discipline. There is no routine. If everything, everything goes in a well planned, well orchestrated manner, and we are not still syncing with that because we have so much of tamasic thing. The inertia is there. So Krishna now Uddhava continues. He says Krishna effortlessly used to say Vedas and Shastras taught by Sandipani. And when once what happens is Guru's son is killed by um, Asura. So his name is Panchajana, son. So he is dead by an Asura. And Sandipani he starts grieving because his only son, he and his wife. So Krishna says, this is my Guru Dakshina, and he brings that dead man alive because Guru Dakshina is a paddhati, it is a trend. He can say, I'm the creator, so I have brought him back. What is there? It's my work. No, he brings back and he offers that as Guru Dakshina. That means he's complying to the duties of as if it is his own duty as a student of this great um, sage called Sandipan. So, and then he says how he married Rukmini, we already told that. And then how he brings, again, we are repeating this actually, how he brings Parijata Vriksha from Indraloka. Actually, Indra's mother, Aditi's nose ring, one jewel, has been stolen by Narakasura. Narakasura is a great demon. And he would have stolen, and Indra wants to bring that back, and he is afraid he cannot fight Narakasura, very strong, very powerful. He takes help of Krishna. So Krishna with Satyabhama, he goes to get he goes to fight with Indra. Then what happens is they finish, they kill Narakasura, and then Narakasura has so many wives. That's how he gets 16,000 wives. So all those people, they're all captivated by him, and so Krishna sees them, and they are all looking up to Krishna with lot of love and passion, and as though they want to get married to him. So Krishna permits. He says, "Yes, come along," as a protection, and he brings all of them. And on the way, Satyabhama sees this parijata plant tree, shrub. It is not a big tree. So you have seen that flower. It's a very beautiful smelling and Krishna's favorite, flower. You see that it falls. You cannot pluck. It actually falls. That's the only flower which can be picked from the floor and then still offered to Lord. So it was there, and that had come as a one of the outcomes when there was Samudra Mantana. Kalpataru, Kalpavruksha, like the Parijata also comes. Indra would have quietly sent it with his people to his palace. So now Satyabhama sees that. Satyabhama says, I want this. So Krishna says, okay, let's take it. Then Indrani, Indra's wife, she, she becomes very insecure. She says, no, 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 no. How can he take that? We have got it. It has come by this one. Look at that. Indra has called Krishna, and Satyabhama leads that war between him, fight between him and Narakasura, and they have helped them. They don't want to still repay that. But they are asking for a small plant called this one. What is that? Parijata. So she comes running and she says, no, no, this should not be given. Then Krishna again, there is some fight between them, and finally Indra agrees, and Krishna takes a twig of that, and then he comes, I think he gives that Parijata. He comes, and then Rukmini again fights that I want Parijata. Satyabhama says, I deserve it. So I told you that it is planted in Satyabhama's place, and it gives flowers on that side as well as this side, so that both the wives are satisfied. Look at his diplomacy. So this is how Krishna carries out his duties with so many people, with so many interactions. And then he says, now Bhagavan, to relieve the burden of Bhumi further, because initially why Krishna comes here is Bhumi Devi, Bhumi means Prithvi. She goes and requests Brahma, and Brahma asks Vishnu to take birth to relieve the suffering of this world. There are so many bad people, and therefore he comes to relieve. One second, I'll just put it for charging. Give me just one. Yeah. So so these are all the things he does, and then so when he comes to this Prithvi, when he comes to this Prithvi, that is because Bhumi has asked Brahma to relieve him or to relieve her burden with bad people. So he now obliges and he has come. Now what happens is, now Krishna decides that it's time for Bhumi to be relieved by all bad people, and then he there in Kurukshetra, he clears all these people, and this side he says, let Yadavas also not be there. They're all undesirable elements because they were not good. They had become very arrogant, and as I said, they started killing each other. Then they said, "No, it's time to relieve them." So saying, he continues, and then it comes to his. So in his by mesmerized by all the this one, no. by his Maya. He says he keeps describing about Yadavas and this thing. And only thing is, today I will not come to his last stage of Krishna, means how he dies. That we shall discuss in the next session. So that is a take-home message. Whenever Uddhava talks about Krishna, he becomes very emotional, and with every he also narrates so many incidents of Krishna, and with every incident, as I said, we must consider when Bhagavan himself followed so many austerities and he faced so many things because he assumed that body because of his yoga maya. That means he's also in maya, just like you and I. He was also under maya. He also used to cry. He also used to feel the pain because whoever takes birth in this human form have to experience that. He also has felt. He has also felt emotions. But there is the divine will along with that maya. Because of that, everything gets sidelined and he's able to handle so many things effectively. That means even under the influence of maya, we are all under the influence because this buddhi, manas, everything is under the influence of maya only. But there is a jivatman. So, God willing, if his grace is there, if our surrender is there, this all the suffering which come under the broad category of maya can be easily handled because the mind will start or should start focusing or looking at his grace. What is his grace now? Biggest grace that you and I have is discussing like this. As I told, very few will be blessed to be directed in this direction, in this way. Today I had one student. She is hardly 26, and not even 26. MD student. She works came as an intern to me, and we whole day we had a lot of official work to do. Then I said I have this class. She said, "Ma'am, even I like Bhagavad Gita. Even I like Bhagavad Purana. I have read this. I have read that." I said, "You are so blessed, my child, because at that age, showing so much interest when people are into lot of enjoyment mode, because it's a peak of her youth. This is no Buddhism says this, Bhagavad Gita says this, Ramayana says this. So this is all special category of people who are blessed by him. So this should be encashed. I mean, this should be considered whenever we feel low. Whenever we feel low, no problem. We have been blessed to listen to Bhagavad Gita, listen to Bhagavad Purana, read Bhagavad Purana, do our job, and we are all in very interesting job profiles. That itself speaks a lot. Like in our previous session, we said, if we have done enough homework, then in the next birth, Krishna sees to it that we are born in pure families, prosperous families, yogi kind of families. That's what he says in the 6th chapter. So we are born with good comfort, so that we need not struggle to struggle to get our dal roti. We are comfortable, so we can concentrate on this. But we just cannot concentrate. We need His grace, and that is there profusely for all of us. So that saying that, I conclude today's session. So open for discussion. Anything, any additions, whatever are your thoughts, please feel free to add. Yes, Suvarchala.